This is Deborah Dachinger, the Dare to Dream radio show, and welcome. Welcome for another bout of dreamer for dreaming people who are ready to create their life into the vision that they prefer. And you may already be there, and you may be creating even further and more expanded than where you are now. It's all wonderful and good, and we're so happy to have you here with us. So the subject tonight really is about having plans, but being flexible and knowing you have a much greater purpose in life. Flexibility. It's not just something that somebody does in yoga or dance class. It's something we have to do as an emotional muscle to release and let go. It's a huge part of moving ahead. Somebody once said, write your plans in pencil, but be sure that God has the eraser. God has the eraser, because if those plans really aren't meant to be for you, or it's not in your best interest, or on some cosmic level, we ain't gonna go there, it's better to erase it and just start fresh. So it is with flexibility, and where we're headed. We have a plan, we take action steps to execute it, and in the name of flowing like a river. We know that life is going to happen. Life happens. Changes occur. The unexpected shows up uninvited. So I'm saying that even with the best laid plans, life is a way of changing course. And when it does, it's so important to be open and to be flowing, because we can often recreate who we are and then get a positive spin or change in return for what is our perceived grief or pain. There's a Hasidic saying, which is, you should be grateful for everything that happens to you, even your pain. Now, even if you don't feel like it, you can change your own atmosphere by engaging in acts of service or saying something sincere of appreciation or a compliment or an encouragement to somebody else. And just watch when you do that sincerely. Your energy shifts, your energy changes, it goes into gratitude, and you're going to shift into a much more positive place. There's an excerpt from something called Success by Michael Wynn, which reads, success is awarded those who dream of endless possibilities, who through determination and perseverance continue climbing mountains and following rainbows. It is the benefit of these experiences that gives our lives meaning. And did you know that expressing gratitude and enveloping yourself in an attitude of gratitude actually creates better health for yourself? It lowers the risk of depression and high blood pressure in your body and assists probably every organ that you own currently and is functioning inside of your body. If it's not functioning, it'll probably help that too. When you express an emotion inwardly or outwardly, you amplify it. So fear begets fear. Anger begets anger. Expressing gratitude exponentially amplifies gratitude right back to you. And wouldn't you rather be surrounded by appreciation and thankfulness than a really negative cloud of desperation? Tyson Deshimaru said, time is not a line, but a series of now points. Now. This is all we have, now. I heard it said beautifully that we don't have our expiration date stamped on the bottom of our foot. We don't know when that time is, so all we have is now. Be here, now. When you have a great pain in your life, you need a greater purpose. Lisa Nichols said that. You need a greater purpose. Isn't that beautiful? So I'll tell you, a couple of times I found a greater purpose. A big pain in my life was when I left my marriage. We had been together for 8.5 years, and when I decided to end it, and we separated before we divorced, anyone who's been through a divorce, I can tell you it's a club you don't ever forget. And my compassion level has risen so much for anyone who goes through it, because there is a myriad of experiences and especially emotions that you go through. The loss. For me, also superseding a lot of those feelings was a sense of numbness. And there were days I felt really bad and poor and really didn't know just how I was going to get through the day, except to just keep putting one foot in front of the other. That was the best I could do. Breathe, put one foot in front of the other. But one thing I really knew above everything that was going on emotionally was I had to move forward. So that momentum saved me, because through going forward, I found a greater purpose. Now, I'd honestly never been interested in radio. People are always surprised to find that out, but really I wasn't interested in radio in the least. But I did take a small job just weeks after my separation at a radio station, and I started to run a music show. And I was never fully aware of why I was there, but I kept showing up, and I was kind of like this about it, and I kept assuring myself, you know, if you don't want to be here at any time, we can leave. We have that option. We can leave. And knowing that made it okay to keep showing up. And 2 months after showing up, I was offered my own show, and just outpoured from me this 1-hour talk show called Dare to Dream, which now clearly is my purpose. So I created a radio show that was imbued with my history and my essence. It was metaphysically based. It is metaphysically based. It allows me to shine my light on great people doing great things. It allows me to touch many people with the message that there's another way to do things. There's help. There's goodness. It's all possible. And I wanted people to know that they could create their dreams, their goals, and their intentions into their reality. And it was so important to me to not just get the message out, but to also teach by example. So I created inspiring and motivating show openings, like this, full of useful ideas, or like the ones you hear on my radio show. I wanted listeners to be able to have something tangible that they could use to help them move forward. And then I started bringing in very successful people who were aligned with living their passion and doing good for the planet at the same time. And it was like sitting in an interview that was a masterclass every week. And I realized that after doing the show, it took me a while, but I realized, Lord, this is exactly what you had in mind for me. Isn't that so funny? That from my pain I found my greater purpose. And there I was, doing my thing. And it was a beautiful thing. It really was. I had no clue that that's, at least for today, where I have been meant to end up. And I get fantastic feedback from my audience. And thank you. I suck at that, don't I? How do you do that hard? I, of all people, should know how to do a hard. So I love all of you who give me so much amazing feedback. I mean, the show, it's a blessing both ways. And you feel inspired, and you inspire me. So around that time, by the way, same kind of time-ish, now we're into about 3 months after I left my marriage, I had always dreamed of going to Italy. And I felt so strongly about traveling to Italy. Country I had been denying myself access to for 10 years. Every time I thought of it, I had so many reasons why not to go. Still doesn't make sense, but I just did. Don't we all do that? Great dream, passion, boom. Before you know it, that dream's gone. And so I decided, of all times, here I am alone, going to this incredibly romantic place. I'm going to go. I'm going to go alone. I took myself on the most magnificent 16-day trip by myself, sans anybody else. And I had the best time. It was fabulousness. So I got tired of dreaming. It was time for action. And I went to the place I most wanted to experience. I was so excited. Now, it was a myriad of feelings even traveling. Sometimes I felt terribly alone because I went at an unpopular time. There were sometimes I was in communities that only spoke Italian. Everyone thought I was Italian, and I spoke very little. And I'm not Italian. I'm an Italian wannabe. But it was what I want you to know is those 16 days were so profound for me. It changed my life to do that. And the trip was the greatest freaking thing. I want to go